Hi, I'm Dr. Kathy Boehme from the Drake Center, and I'm going to go over some commonly asked questions that people have about their dog's diet and nutrition.
Dr. Boehme, is it important to feed my pet a life stages diet?
Life stages diets are typically divided into three: puppy food, adult maintenance food, and senior diets. I think feeding puppy food is very important. Definitely the nutritional composition for a puppy is different than adult that's already done with their growth. So definitely a puppy food is a good idea. Senior diets are more controversial and questionable. The problem with senior diets is that there is no standardization. So what one company calls a senior diet could be very different from what a different company calls a senior diet, and they could be completely different nutrient profiles. So to me, senior diet's fairly meaningless in its terminology. So the way I like to do it is I will look at my older patients, see what conditions they have going on, see what problems they have, and we'll change their nutrition based on what's going to be best for their long-term benefit.
How do I wean my puppy into an adult dog food diet?
The weaning process is pretty simple for most puppies. When their growth is complete, then you just take, a 1 to 2 week period to gradually wean them down from their puppy food while increasing the amount of adult maintenance food that's added to the diet. Most dogs can do that fairly easily within a week. Some may take 2 to 3 if they have a very sensitive stomach. They need to go a little slower, but it's actually a pretty easy process.
Should I feed my dog on a schedule?
Ideally, yes. I think that when dogs are allowed to free feed, they oftentimes will eat too much and become overweight. So meal feeding is ideal. Feeding on a schedule is basically the same thing as meal feeding. Then one, is my dog eating well? Are they, eating all the food that they should? You can pick up on medical problems earlier. If they're kind of off their food, you'll pick up on that quicker. And then two, you can control the amount of calories they're getting. So much easier to keep a dog lean and fit when they are actually being fed meals rather than free feeding. I do have some dogs that just won't eat that way, and it's okay. You just have to be sure that you're controlling the number of calories they get. So if they're grazers, you can put their food down, but when it's gone, it's gone.
How do I know if I'm feeding my dog too much?
Oh, but that's an easy question. They get fat. Bottom line is that you do need to be aware of your dog's body conformation. It is so important to keep dogs lean through their whole life because we have a lot of chronic disease that develops later in life related to being overweight. It's difficult to do when you see your dog every day, so the best thing to do is to feel them and to familiarize yourself with something called body condition scoring. There are body condition scoring charts available online. We can put a link on our website too so you can see. So basically when you look at your dog from the side, their abdomen should tuck up. When you're looking down from a bird's eye view, they should have a waist in front of their hip bones. Now for really fluffy dogs, that's not going to work. So you need to put your hands on them and feel them. So the best place to feel a dog to see if their weight's appropriate is along the rib cage. Just like the bones on the back of your hand, there's really nothing that lives between the rib and the skin other than fat. So you should be able to really easily feel those bones. If there's like a jelly-like feeling there or a little extra tissue, your dog's chubby. So we'd be wanting to cut back on the calories a bit.
There are so many brands of food. How do I know if my dog is on the right food?
Yes, it's a very confusing market to traverse now. New diets are coming out on the market every day. There's tremendous amounts of marketing that goes into trying attract people to that diet. The best way to know if your dog's on the right food is to look at your dog. Their coat should be sleek and shiny. They shouldn't have a lot of dander. Their nails should look nice and translucent. Black nails should be shiny. Their stools should be consistently normal. They shouldn't have a lot of flatulence. They shouldn't be chronic vomiters. They shouldn't be going off their food one day and then eating for 2 days and then going off again. So we want them energetic, shiny eyes, inquisitive. Most dogs are very intelligent and engaged with us. That's what we're looking for. Really you have to look at your pet. There's no blanket statement that I can say that this is the best diet for one dog because they're all variable, just like humans are.
When would my dog need a prescription diet?
There are lots of conditions that are amenable to prescription diets. I personally think of food as medicine, and that's the way I approach my patients. So there are definitely conditions that benefit from having a very specific diet. The most common reasons that dogs need prescription diets are if they've had adverse reactions to over-the-counter foods, ingredients in over-the-counter foods, if they have a food allergy. In older age, we're looking oftentimes at animals with inflammatory bowel disease or kidney disease or liver disease. There are even diets for cognitive dysfunction, meaning dementia in older animals. There's diets for seizures. So there are lots of indications for a prescription diet. A healthy dog does not need a prescription diet, though. There are many really excellent over-the-counter maintenance diets that are perfectly fine for healthy dogs. But when we start dealing with medical issues, then it is nice to combine diet with other treatments to try and slow progression or even reverse changes seen with those diseases.
All right, last question. Does my dog need to be on supplements in addition to their diet?
Oh, that's a good question. Supplements are a huge market. There's a lot of good information out there and there's a lot of misinformation. I am very skeptical of many supplements because it's not tightly regulated by anyone. So in general, a dog on a good diet that's thriving and healthy does not need supplementation. There are many medical conditions, though, that I do recommend some supplements along with dietary changes. And I do consider in breeds that are prone to arthritis, once they hit middle-aged or so, I do start to consider putting them on some supplements that may be beneficial for their joints, like omega-3 fatty acids. Those are also really good for older dogs as they develop cognitive decline. Omega-3 fatty acids have been known to help preserve brain health. So there are specific indications for supplements. In general, I think most dogs, especially young dogs, certainly don't need them. Okay, thank you. We're going to wrap this one up, and I hope that I helped you. If you have questions about anything with your own pet's conditions, then please feel free to call the hospital, schedule an appointment with a doctor, and we'll be happy to go over your concerns with you. Thank you.